Alright, peace, y'all. Today's video, we're going to be reacting to Charleston White on the Anton Daniels podcast. So we're going to see what he's talking about.
Before we get into this video, make sure you guys like, comment, share, and subscribe. And hit the notification bell just to remind y'all to watch the video.
We're on the road to 400 subscribers, so please subscribe. Help us get there, y'all.
We used to have to reenact our crimes. So not only did we have to reenact our crimes, you would have to reenact certain life situations. So this is part of your therapy. This was therapy. This was intense group therapy. It had a lot to do with rehabilitation, but it was more focusing on re-socialization. So think about what I'm saying. Re-socialization. Rehabilitation, it does nothing but puts you at a starting point. Re-socialization changes your life. It changes, it repairs the harm that was done, right? So in this culture, in this environment, we had to complete this, right? You had to do your life, you had to do your life story. So they would give you a packet, and they would ask you questions, but they would take you all the way back to your earliest memory in your life, if you can remember. Yeah. And you would go all through this whole packet answering questions all the way up until the day you kill somebody. So throughout that may take a whole week for you to do. So you in group, you gonna start all the way to your earliest memory. And once you tell that whole life story, then the other group members begin to ask you questions. They begin relating, only to show you all your childhood trauma, to show you your pain. So when you hear me say, man, just growing up without a father, you automatically, naturally feel unloved. Most kids don't know why they feel unloved. Or they don't know why why this kid angry? He can't say, man, I feel unloved because my daddy not here. Yeah. He can't articulate that. Or he can't say, man, I feel abandoned. Or he can't say, man, because of the nigga ain't here, I feel rejected. I feel rejected, man. Unloved, unwanted, abandoned. So that's pain. So once you realize, man, this little motherfucker angry, well, long before the anger, you got all these other feelings. Unloved, ashamed, so you got all these other feelings. Anger becomes the smoke.
The dads play one of the biggest roles in a kid's life, especially for both genders, men and women. You know, especially women, they need a father figure and to teach the young lady what a man is supposed to treat another woman, and a man needs to know how to treat other ladies and how to become a man. So father figure is very big. It's
very big also because a lot of females, for us, like, we naturally attract to our dad. So our dad is like our first love. Like, before we meet any other dude, like, that's our dad. And the same for guys. Like, your first love for a woman is your mom.
Your mother.
So those are the people we idolize, especially when it comes to relationships. So, like, if your dad is toxic, then you might find yourself getting in toxic relationships, and you're just like, why do I keep, like, having these reoccurring relationships? Maybe it's because you're attracted to people that remind you of your dad. And that happens a lot, just in the world we live in now, too. Like, there's, like, broken families, and there's just a lot of stuff going on in the family area, especially, like, in the black community. So we definitely need to
change that.
We got to change that.
Yeah. Right? Anger becomes a smokescreen to the behavior. Hiding the pain. So, man, they break all this shit down only to show you where most people who become violent, most people who become sexual predators, most people who become thieves, most people who become robbers, most people who become liars, they go into a cycle that causes them to end up slapping you or stealing your car. And so, based on what you done gone through in life, your pain, because most of the things that you deal with in life pretty much goes back to your unresolved childhood issues.
Yeah.
Relationships, interactions at work, riding in a car by yourself, throwing somebody the finger, all that go back to unresolved issues as a child. That you hadn't healed from, you hadn't overcame, or you just hadn't completely addressed. So what it was showing us that, okay, so after your life story, you're going to do your offense cycle. Your offense cycle is everything you was doing leading up to the time you committed that crime.
Mm-hmm.
So the start of a cycle, the start of every cycle is a poor me mindset.
Mm-hmm.
Feeling sorry for yourself. That's the start of every cycle. The depression, alcohol, the poor me.
Yep.
Then everything else start going. All up until the time of you to do something, you crash out, you hurt somebody. But throughout that cycle, at some point, you can break it.
Mm-hmm.
If you know your thinking area.
Yep.
Blaming, justifying, minimizing, making excuses. Those are all the things that do to fail.
Yep, I agree.
So they teaching us this as a kid. In intense group therapy for hours. But they really making us like.
I think a lot more black kids in the hood need to start doing this, because it will really help with all the unresolved issues that's going on in their family, in the community, not having a father. Mother might not be there, might be living, with their grandparents and stuff. So group therapy that really goes deep into making you think about yourself and makes you go deep into your issues. It can help resolve that before you get older and before, you start doing worse things.
Doctors and psychologists. Homie, they were, man, listen.
Dang, that's deep.
Everybody that I know, every guy I know that went there from let me see, they started instituting this probably like late 80s. So when they started noticing kids were starting to kill. So outside of California, Chicago, Philadelphia, New York, I think D.C., it wasn't a lot of black kids committing murder. You had isolated incidents.
Yeah.
But from 88 to 91, homie, you had a wave. It was almost like an epidemic of kills.
What do you think? Was that a combination
That came
of
out in the 80s, right?
the drugs,
Yep.
the gangs, and the music, the culture, in which we started to embrace?
It was the emergence of the culture has shifted. The culture has shifted. We had went from being lollipop people, so we was dancing and popping and wearing jammies and no, homie, we wasn't violent yet.
Yeah.
But once the culture shifted, the crack 83, 84, 85. So by the time 88, it's doing damage.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And so now you got gangs spreading out through.
Everything starts to change in the black
And
community.
then promoting like street violence as
Yeah.
well. So, yeah, that crack era was like a big epidemic in the black community. Started falling, like especially families and homes. Like a lot of moms were leaving their kids just for
to get some crack.
just to get some crack.
Families were broken up. Uncles were stealing from, family
Family
members,
members,
money, all that stuff. That broke up a lot of black communities. And it was planted in our community for a reason.
Yeah.
And it worked.
Country. So about 89, 90, you got Hillary Clinton and Joe Biden saying, "Hey, America, listen to me. There's a wave of children we have. They're bigger. This was their exact words. They're bigger. They're faster. They're stronger. They're heartless, and they're incorrigible." Meaning they won't be able to change.
Yeah.
And these children are super predators. And America said, what? So they started looking at their local newspapers and started noticing, man, God damn, these kids are killing kids.
Mm-hmm.
I was in that article.
Really?
Debbie Price. Children who kill with no remorse was an article that talks about kids in America killing. We was in that article. So that sent a shockwave of fear through America. So even the Black Democratic National Caucus got on board, and so that's where the juvenile sentencing laws, where they started becoming tough on children. George Bush decided to run as governor, and his whole platform to run as governor was tough on juvenile crime. Then you started having Congress making crack laws. Crack became the worst thing known to mankind in this country, and so it left people having no compassion and no heart and no sympathy for anybody that has anything to do with crack, whether that was a user, a dealer, or whatever. So yeah, man, they did a number.
That's crazy.
That's crazy, yeah.
Some deep stuff, y'all.
Putting crack in our community, it worked it worked the way they wanted it to work. They wanted to break up families. They wanted to kill off more people, to help with the depopulation of the Black community, and planting that in our community, making us putting us all together, and in a small community, making us feel trapped. And you're putting also alcohol and all this other guns and all this other stuff,
cigarettes, everything.
with a certain amount of people in a small community, and we're gonna kill each other. And that's what we were doing, and that's what they did in the 80s, and that's what we're continue to doing, because we're not getting outside of that area. We're gonna feel isolated. We're all gonna be vibrating at a low vibration because everything around us is at a low vibration.
And then it might be hard for certain people to see themselves getting out of that situation, so they just commit to the streets, or they commit to certain crimes, or whatever the case is, and get out of a toxic environment or just negative environment in general. I promise you, your life will change drastically.
It's a huge change.
Huge change, and it's all just within to better yourself. So. Yeah.
So yeah, y'all. We hope y'all liked the video. Please make sure to like, share, comment, and subscribe. Help us get to 400 subscribers. So make sure y'all do that. Peace.